Hello, my name is Julia Sherwood, and this will be a bilingual reading from This Room is Impossible to Eat by Nicol Hochholczerová, a Slovak writer, which will be published by Parthian Books on the 5th of May and has been translated into English by my husband Peter Sherwood and me. Nicol Hochholczerová's debut, published in 2021, is poetic and surreal and brutally visceral by turns. It maps 6 years in the relationship between a young girl, Tereza, and her art teacher, Ivan, told from their alternating perspectives. It's entirely non-judgmental, and the author leaves it up to the reader to work out that this is a case of manipulation and grooming. Nicol will now read from the beginning of the book in Slovak. This will be a time when the teacher, Ivan, is 50 and Tereza, the girl, is 12. And she will start by explaining the significance of the numbers printed at the top of the page, which basically show the respective ages of the protagonists. So over to Nicol now.
Zdravím, tu Nicol Hochholczerová a budem čítať zo svojej knihy. A budem čítať od začiatku, lebo to väčšinou tak robievam a nie je v tej knihe až tak veľa textu, takže aby som toho veľa neprezradila. A začnem vlastne od začiatku. Pri tých kapitolách sú takéto čísla, ktoré označujú vlastne vek Ivana a Terezy. Prvé je 50 a hneď ďalší za tým bude 12. 50. Niekto Ivanovi vytrháva vlasy, niekto neviditeľný. Ivan ich po jednom zbiera. Ťažko sa mu hľadajú biele vlasy na bielej plachte. Po jednom ich hádže do koša k zhnitému ovociu. Myslí pritom na dcéru, ako rozbíjala dary, ktoré od neho dostala. Úlomky po jednom pozbieral a odložil do zásuvky, kým ona revala v izbe. Myslel na to, ako tam revala, aj keď zomrel Freddie Mercury. Ivan ju potom objímal, kým nezaspala. Tešil sa, že niekto zomrel, že sa mu naskytla príležitosť byť dobrým otcom. Tešil sa aj na pohrebe jej mamy. Objímal si jedinú dcéru a tešil sa, že prišla aspoň na pár dní domov. Z odtoku v kúpeľni potom vyťahoval jej vlasy a naďalej sa tešil, keď sa mu obmotali okolo prstov. Tešil sa, keď sa ledva dali odlepiť a spláchnuť. Škoda, že deti nie sú mokré vlasy, že sa tak ľahko odlepia. Ivan žije v lacnom podnájme. Cez deň učí deti kresliť a v noci sa mu sníva hudba, pri ktorej jeho dcéra kričala: "Oco, stíš to!" A keď sa zobudí a otočí vánku už mokrý od potu, zistí, že pod ním tikajú hodinky. Celý húf hodiniek, hmíria sa ako hady. Nenávidí tikanie hodín a teraz takto. Tikajú priamo pod jeho vankúšom, jedni zasyčia a poskladajú sa do klopka. Nadvihnú článok na remienku, aby spod neho mohlo vypadnúť vajce. Z toho vajca sa vyliahnu detské hodinky. Veselo sa hmíria a tikajú. Do piče, tak ešte aj toto, hromží Ivan. Hádže hodinky do koša k znitému ovociu, ale z kopy neubúda. Nakoniec Ivan vlezie do skrine a tam sedí na hrobe džínsov. V mladosti by vraždil za džínsy. Vraždil by za ticho, ale hodinky tikajú. Počuť ich aj do skrine, ako by sa za Ivanom plazili, kým jemu vypadávajú vlasy do lona. 12. Moja izba sa nedá zjesť. Ani moje nechty sa nedajú zjesť, iba obhrísť. Prídem zo školy, obhrízam si ich a plačem. Lebo na mňa kričali škaredá lesba, aj keď nemali prečo, veď všetky dievčatá sa učili boskávať s inými dievčatami. Ale horšie je byť škaredá, lebo ostatné dievčatá nie sú. Kričia aj, že som bifľoška, lenže ja sa nikdy nemusím učiť. Všetko si pamätám. Starý otec povedal, že mám na dievča priveľa mozgových buniek. Veď sa aj tvári, že som chlapec, vyrába mi zbrane a naučil ma jesť varenú krv. Tu je ľahšie zjesť ako vlastnú izbu. A ako zjesť seba, od koštičky pri nechtoch až po uši, o ktorých v škole hovoria, že sú veľké ako taniere. O tom všetkom by som mohla napísať, ale nenapíšem, lebo na literárnej súťaži nám povedali, že písať o šikane nie je veľmi originálne, že o tom píše každý, takže o tom nepíšem. A ešte mi jeden porodca povedal: "Raz som čítal knihu, ktorá sa začínala vetou: Ráno som vstala a odrezala som si ruky. Presne tak na mňa pôsobila tvoja poviedka." Ráno som sa zobudila a odrezala si izbu. Ale zjesť sa nedala. Posledná mliečna stolička sa mi odkotúľala pod posteľ. Ráno som sa zobudila a odrezala si izbu. Potom som odrezala školu. Našťastie ma starý otec naučil káľať drevo sekerou, aj keď iba malé kusy malou sekerou. Lenže ani škola sa nedala zjesť. Iba z bufetu sa vysypali kopy pelendrekov s príchuťou melón a jahoda v jogurte a z telocvične vybehla Silvia, moja jediná kamarátka okrem starého otca a Rumoša. Prikryla mi hlavu a zazerala na tých, kvôli ktorým som si chcela všetko odrezať. Potom zazerala na mňa a žula melónový pelendrek. Odkedy Rumoš zomrel, nemám komu hučať do ucha. Ešte aj Silvia mi povie sklapni a bicykluj. A Rumoš zomrel už dávno. Najprv prišla pohľadnica zo sanatória. Potom starý otec podrezal kozu, lebo sa ňu nemal kto starať. To bola Rumošova úloha. Ale hlavne bola jeho úloha počúvať všetko, čo natáram. Všetci to o mne hovoria. Tejto Tereze sa huba nezastaví, v kuse niečo melie. A potom ma objímu. A ja si to všetko pamätám, lebo mám na dievča priveľa mozgových buniek. Raz budem ticho, nikomu o ničom nepoviem. Rodičia ma zapísali na krúžok kreslenia. Sedím tam, žujem koniec ceruzky, ako by to bola izba. V slúchadlách mi hrá metal. Prosila som Silviu, aby sem chodila so mnou, ale ona nie. Sedím tam a nikoho nepoznám. A keď si vytiahnem slúchadlá z uší, počuť iba škrabanie ceruzky a týkanie hodín a štrnganie kľúčmi a kroky. To ste vy, pán učiteľ.
Someone is pulling out Ivan's hair, someone invisible. Ivan picks up the strands one by one. White hairs are difficult to spot on a white sheet. He throws them into a bin on top of some rotting fruit. He thinks of his daughter and how she used to smash to pieces the presents he'd given her, how he would pick up the broken bits one at a time and keep them in a drawer while she sat in her room sobbing. He recalls how she sat there sobbing after Freddie Mercury died, and Ivan held her in his arms until she fell asleep. He was glad that someone had died, as it gave him a chance to be a good dad. He also felt glad at her mother's funeral, as he could hold his only daughter in his arms, glad that she had come home for a few days at least. And after she left, he had to fish out her hair from the bath plug hole, and was glad again when the hair twisted itself around his fingers. He could barely peel it off and flush it down the toilet. What a shame that children, unlike strands of wet hair, peel off so easily. Ivan lives in a cheap rented flat. During the day, he teaches children to draw, and at night he dreams of the kind of music that used to make his daughter yell, "Turn it down, Dad!" And when he wakes up and turns his sweat-drenched pillow round, he finds watches ticking under it, an entire swarm of wristwatches slithering about like snakes. He really hates the ticking of watches, and yet here they are, tick-tocking away right under his pillow. One curls up into a ball with a hiss, raising the end of its strap and letting an egg drop out. A child's watch hatches from it and starts ticking and wriggling about. "What the fuck," Ivan swears, and flings the watches one after the other into the bin on top of the rotting fruit, but the pile doesn't get any smaller. In the end, he climbs into the wardrobe and crouches on top of a heap of jeans. When he was young, he could have killed for a pair of jeans. Now he would kill for some peace and quiet. But the watches keep ticking. He can hear them even from the inside of the wardrobe. They seem to creep towards him as his hair is falling out and into his lap. My room is impossible to eat. So are my fingernails. All I can do is bite them and cry when I come home from school, because they called me an ugly lesbo for no reason. Surely all girls practice kissing on girls, but it's worse when you're the only one who's ugly. They also call me a swot, but I don't have to study ever. I just remember everything. My grandpa says I have too many brain cells for a girl. He actually treats me like a boy, making me guns and getting me used to eating stewed blood when we make blood sausages. Stewed blood is easier to eat than my room. It's also easier than eating myself, all of myself, from my cuticles right up to my ears. The kids at school say they are the size of dinner plates. I could write about this sort of stuff, but I don't, because I entered a writing competition and we were told that it's not very original to write about being bullied at school. Everybody writes about that, so I won't. And another thing one of the judges told me was, I once read a book that began with the sentence, I got up in the morning and cut off my hands. That's exactly the effect your story had on me. I woke up in the morning and cut off my room, but couldn't eat it up. And my last milk molar fell out and rolled under the bed. I got up in the morning and cut off my room. Then I cut off the school. Luckily, my grandpa taught me to use an axe to chop wood, though it was only small chunks of wood with a small axe. But I couldn't eat the school either. Only the vending machine spat out streams of melon and strawberry fruit strings, and Sylvia came running out of the gym. Sylvia is my only friend, apart from Grandpa and Rumos. She came and covered my heads with her hands and looked daggers at the people who made me want to cut everything off. And then she looked daggers at me while chewing a melon fruit strings. Since Rumos died, I don't have anyone who can stand my jabbering. Even Sylvia says, shut up and keep peddling. But Rumos died a long time ago. First a card came from the sanatorium, and then Grandpa slit the goat's throat because there was no one to look after it, as that used to be Rumos's job. But his main job was to listen to me rabbiting on. Everyone says, that Tereza never stops jabbering. She talks 19 to the dozen. And then they give me a hug. But I remember everything, because I have too many brain cells for a girl. Only one day I will go quiet and won't say a word to anyone about anything. My parents have made me take an after-school arts class. I sit here chewing a pencil like it's my room, with heavy metal throbbing in my earbuds. I asked Sylvia to take the class with me, but she said no. So I sit here, not knowing a soul, and when I take my earbuds out, all I can hear is the scratching of pencils, the ticking of a clock, and jangling of keys, and the sound of someone's steps. That would be you, my teacher. So this was a reading from This Room is Impossible to Eat by Nicol Hochholczerová. And Nicol is coming to the UK to introduce the book. She will tour from London, Oxford, Crickhowell, Hay, Cardiff and Bristol, and then back in London between the 6th of May and 15th of May. And you can read the details in the link under this video. Thank you for listening. Bye.